So this is question 1 for discussion week 7, the discussion that we did on the web page, not a worksheet. So for the first one, 2x plus 6, to factor, you want to factor out a factor that can be divided by both the terms. So in this case, you can factor out a 2 because you can divide 2, why didn't that turn red, by both the terms and come out with a nice whole number. You don't want to do divisions that give you decimals or other kinds of fractions, or at least we're not needing to do that yet. So in that case, the notation is when you factor out, you divide each term by 2 in this case, and you'll get the x, and then that will be 3 plus 3. Just like that. So, and the way you check, of course, is if you multiply back in using distributive property, that should give you back your answer of 2x plus 6. So in this case, that would be 2x plus 6. So it checks out just fine. On this problem here, I didn't do anything but just add another variable. It's a y, so we can't really do anything different. We're still factoring out a 2. So I wanted you to know the difference. If you have 2 different variables, there's nothing you can do but leave them there. So you're going to factor out the 2 again, and you will get the x. Now it's plus 3y, because y just stays there. You can't do anything with it. And then if you multiply back, you get the 2x plus the 6y. Okay, so 2x plus 6x plus 8. Now, in this situation, I didn't put enough in the instructions. So many students went ahead and just combined these terms before simplifying, and that's a really great way to do that. You can do it the other way, and I'll show you both ways to do it. So if we're going to combine the like terms first, that would be we're adding the 2, this coefficient, plus this coefficient. That's what it means to add like terms. And that will give us an 8, and the x stays the same. Now, the reason that works is because of the distributive property. If you factor out the x here between these 2 terms, this is what you're doing really. You're doing, then you add these terms, so then you get 8x. That's when you're combining like terms, this is essentially what you're doing. But of course the shortcut and the easy way to look at it is you just add the terms in front of the variables that are the same variable. And I'll go over that again when we combine like terms in the next question. So anyway, continuing with this problem, when after I combine these like terms, I have this 8x plus the 8. And now we can factor. So let's say if we move all this stuff and factor it down here, I would get, to factor, I'm going to divide each by 8. So that means I put an 8 here, parentheses, and that would cancel to x. 8 over 8 equals 1, because any number over itself equals 1. This addition sign stays the same, and that's your answer. Now, if you had factored first on this problem, let's clear up a little bit of this. Okay, so doing the problem the other way, in other words, if we factor first, you can factor out a 2 from each term, which means dividing each term by 2. So you would then get x, because that cancels, and you divide 2 into 6, which is 3x, so you have 3x. And then 8 divided by 2, that would be plus 4. Well, technically you're not done yet, because you can simplify. Well, everything's factored out here, certainly, but it's still, if you were in a test situation, you'd want to simplify as much as possible. And I didn't put that in those instructions. So I wasn't really expecting that, although most people did it anyway, which is great. It just means that the practice that you're doing in the homework is really helping. So if we remember, there's always a coefficient of 1 in front of any x or y or z. Then you can add the 3 plus the 1. So then you get 4x. So this combines to 4x. And then you bring this down, put the parentheses. You've got 2 here, and this is the tricky part. You've got this 2 here. So now if you factor out again, which is what you would have to do, divide each by 4, and you're bringing this 4 out, but you've got to remember to multiply. So then this reduces to x. Nothing happens to that plus sign, and this reduces to 1. And then you would combine that to get 8 in front. So you end up with the answer that we had the first time I showed you.